The Boone County Health Department makes room for its Sheriff's Department for community outreach, advocacy, and recovery programs. Leaders gave us a sneak peek before Tuesday's ribbon cutting and tell WIFR's Alyssa Kelly how this move will strengthen community services for residents.
People need a space for something, they can utilize this location and this room.
This location will soon be a critical part of Boone County services offered to its residents. Those services are called COAR and include recovery and advocacy programs.
And this program has been built to address the needs over the years that we've seen in the community. We've identified what the gaps in services are, what the resources are that people need.
Our mission is really to meet with people and link them to behavioral health services, behavioral health needs.
Project leaders understand behavioral health is a broad term, but they emphasize the program covers a wide range of issues.
Well, it could be anything from domestic violence, mental health, substance use, to clothing items, food. People need help with government benefits and signing up for those and kind of working through those systems.
It also offers a one-stop shop rather than force people to travel to different sites.
So that we're not duplicating services, we're not working in silos, we're really connecting those dots across providers in the community.
The COAR program services began in 2019, and now that it has 4 walls and a door, leaders hope more residents will take advantage of it.
So watching the positive numbers grow and the negative numbers decrease is what we're all about in public health. That's what we're looking for, is to see better outcomes in what the population is needing and how their health is. And we believe that this program is contributing to those healthy outcomes.
In Belvedere, Alyssa Kelly, WIFR News.
It's open to the public now, but the official ribbon cutting will take place at 4:30 Tuesday afternoon. The facility at 1455 McKinley Avenue will also house the coroner's office to improve collaboration.